Good evening, all. I am in my favorite chair, just like I promised. It's your baby boomer, Kitty Lane, from the Peninsula in Virginia, back with number 97, I believe. 96 or 97. Might be 95. I don't remember. 95. 95. Video number 95 of Create and Relate. Y'all, now you see why I was so giddy. This is absolutely beautiful. I do have one tail that needs to be tucked in, but I have lost all of my metal yarn needles, and I don't like using the plastic. I love what I did to the back as opposed to the front. I have bras that have that extra latch at the top so that you can wear it with tops like this, you know, that come close in the back. And I don't have any tops to wear with the bras. So, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer, for showing me or directing me in which way to go. Because this part, I had to figure out by myself. But I was like, if we do this and we do this, and here where she shows you how to connect or make your arm space, if I had done this like it was shown in, well, first of all, I couldn't have, because I did make the front deeper than the back. I don't like things close up in here. I guess you all can probably tell from my videos. So if I had crocheted this out to the point where they would meet, my underarm thing would have been like here. And not saying that's not big enough, but it would have been kind of tight to get into. My arms would have been fine, but it would have, you see, it would have confined my space of getting into it. So I think this is absolutely beautiful. I am absolutely amazed. I'm happy, I'm giddy. I told you how I felt about it already, so we're not going to go back into that as much as I would love to. I did manage to get up. I am still struggling with a lot of pain in my lower extremities, but like I said, I am so thankful to God that I'm here. I am here, and I'm able to make that struggle to get up. I did make it up to the kitchen. I even took my scooter to the store, but of course when I take the scooter to the store, I don't have to get up. But I took trash over to the compactor. I had to get up then, so I made it up a few times. Like I said, I did go up to the kitchen because I fixed the baby some lunch and I made myself a cup of coffee. So I did make one more pencil holder last night, and I have a bunch more. I've got too many to count by looking at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've got 13 more, 14, 15. I just haven't cut these yet, but yeah. 11 of them are already cut down. I've got 4 that I can cut down. My bag is getting full again. I'll probably cut those down tonight. I'm still waiting on the Temu arrival, and then I can go ahead on and get those done. I did make one last night from the one remaining ball that I had, and I honestly think, I'm pretty sure I can get another 3 out of this. Hey, I might do that while I'm talking to y'all. Let's see what kind of magic we can create. Last night when I was looking at one of the stories. I look at like animated stories on YouTube as well. And it was about this baby who was born in Morocco. And no, it wasn't Morocco, but it was in India. And he threw tantrums terribly. I mean, he just threw tantrums like you would not believe. And his family couldn't figure out why. They couldn't do anything to stop him. His mom was just so heavy-hearted behind it. And, you know, the more she tried to stop him, the worse they got. And she got to the point where she would close him up in the room and sit outside of his room as he was throwing these tantrums. And she noticed one day he said a word which didn't make any sense, but she also noticed that whenever he would say that word, he would calm down. So she knew he was close to the end of his tantrum. So she opens the door, and as this child grows older, he starts asking, you know, at the point that he could talk, could he go with them to, I want to say Agra, but it was a place that was like 8 miles away from where they lived. And they would remind him that he didn't, you know, it was no need for him to go. There was nothing there. They were a poor family. They only went when they, you know, had the means to go. And he just fell all out of sorts. Finally, when he's about 3 years old, he starts mentioning this radio store. And he starts talking really, really bad about his mom's tattered clothing and the clothing that, you know, she was dressing him in, and the fact that the house was poor, the furniture was bad. Now, mind you, this is a 3-year-old kid. And he's just going off about all of this stuff. So, finally, one day, his brothers had the occasion to go to this other place. We're going to say Accra because I don't know any better right now. I can't remember the name of it. I apologize for that. So they went, and as they walked around, they ran into a radio store that carried this word. It wasn't just one word, it was actually 2 words that this little boy was saying. So, upon further investigation, they invited the owners of that radio store to their house. And of course, when they pulled up in the equivalent of a limousine, and they wore the finest linens, and they were brightly colored, and, you know, they had drivers, and it was 6 people, you know, that showed up. So instead of the family going out to greet these 6 people, they let this little boy go out and greet them. And when he went out and he saw the woman, the younger woman, like in her 30s, he just ran up to her and hugged her, told her she was beautiful, and invited them in. So as they go in and sit down to have dinner with the poor family, the mother of the little boy tells a story of how when she was pregnant, the doctor put her on, he hospitalized her actually when she was 6 months pregnant because she was in threat of losing the baby. And they all put 2 and 2 together, and this was the same time that the rich woman's husband was fighting in the war, and he was killed in the war actually. And he said the name of the radio store again, and I think his name was Toby, if I'm not mistaken. Toby or Toby. Anyway, the rich woman asked him what was his name. He said, "This family calls me Toby." but my real name is, and he said that word or those two words again, and they realized that this was the reincarnation of that man. And he was given the option at the end to go with the rich family because both families understood, or to stay with the poor family. And of course he opted to stay with the poor family, but the rich family at that point started taking care of the poor family so that they wouldn't, live that way. But anyway, this young man grew up to be, I forgot what he does and where he is now in the United States, but he holds a really high office in a college over this way. I know that he studies genealogy for one, and at first when I was listening to it, I was like, okay. And it's because my grandmother passed in 1985. And the last time I saw her was in the beginning of June of 85, the early part of June of 85. And that was at my cousin's graduation down in Florida. And my grandmother opted to stay down there. And during the meantime, she had knee surgery, and she refused to drink water. I don't think anybody but Floridians appreciate the taste of Florida water. Oh God, it's so gross. Even with the filter in your house, Florida water is gross. It is. Bottled water, trust me. But 53 days went by from the last time I saw my grandmother until the day she passed. Well, I had a son January 13th of 1988. Now, y'all, hear me out. I got pregnant the second week of February of 1987. That was 11 months. I carried that child. At any rate, this is the one where I had, they call it an NDA. Look it up. I don't know if we're allowed to say it or not up here, but I'll just say I crossed over. And, the experience of coming back and the things that have happened since then. But anyway, the miraculous thing about all of this is that my son passed away 53 days after he was born. My prayer after my grandmother passed was, Lord, if I could just have that time back with her. Like I told you before, I'm named after my grandmother. I am actually the second. And he gave me that time back and a son. It's hurtful to lose a child. I'm not taking anything away from that. Don't get me wrong, that is not where this is going at all. But to be able to have that time back with my grandmother, that was priceless. That was priceless. Yep. So, believing in reincarnation, I still, in hearing the story, was thinking that I thought it was fiction for YouTube purposes. But then when I saw the picture of him and the accomplishments that he's made and, everything that he's done, I was like, wow, another real reincarnated person. I realized just how I don't know, childish that sounded, I guess might be the word I'm looking for. But yeah, I was elated. I thought the story in itself was absolutely beautiful because I am one who believes that it's okay if you're down today. Tomorrow you can put your foot on the first round of that ladder and crawl up. I mean, look at the fact that this morning, I woke up when my daughter left for work. The first time I woke up, actually, it was about, I think the clock said 6:36. And I just kind of laid there because I knew the way I was lying, I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't even move them at that point. So I lay there until I went back to sleep, and then my daughter came in and told me she had been called into work, and I was able to move them, but with great pain. So I figured if I stood up and went it on and got the biggest pain over with, I could maneuver around until it got better. Well, the first time I tried to stand up, I almost hit the floor. I was glad I was as close to the bed as I was. So I was able to just kind of lay back on the bed until I could get myself repositioned on the bed. I am glad that I have the mindset that I have at other times when I'm well, because I always think when I go to the grocery store to get foods that the kids can grab, so that if anything were to happen, they would still be able to eat without problem. And lo and behold, today was one of those days. I could not. Not I didn't want to. I could not. And in a roundabout way, that's kind of, what that story reminded me of, the moral of that story. Like I said, you can be down right now, but you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there. There is something that you have. There is a knowledge, a talent, an idea even that you possess that can move you up. Now, I can't say how high you can go. That determination is on you. It's a lot of times it's up to how hard you're willing to work, how far you're willing to push to get there. Your drive has to be such that you want better. But if you just go out here and you expect the world to just give it to you, no. I applaud Toby for his tantrums because it set his brothers in motion to try to figure out what this was, how this 3-year-old child even knew all of this, and everything came to fruition behind his tantrums. Not saying the tantrums are good. That's not my point. My point is that he pushed for it. He didn't just say it and shut up. He kept saying it. He kept talking about it. He kept trying to make it be known. It's like he became exasperated when he said the word because he just couldn't relay it anymore. It's almost like you're telling somebody something and they are listening, but they don't hear you. Or should I say they hear you, but they're not listening. Because you can hear a sound. You can hear a motor. You can hear a plane fly over. But when you're listening, you're really taking in all of these things around you. So everybody was hearing him say this, seeing his tantrums, but they weren't listening to what he was saying. I mean, for him to be saying 2 words and they, figured it was just 1 word that didn't make any sense. And they come to find out it was somebody's name. Yeah, so. Well, I'm about halfway finished with the pencil holder. I just basically wanted to see how many I could get out of this. And if I can make that bag smaller. It is the 11th of August, which means I have 15 days. Well, really, I have 11 days. Because open house is on the 22nd. Yeah. And I want to be able to present at least 1 class, or half for each class even, at least. I was telling myself if I could present 20 to each class, then we could go from there. And that way, I'd still have time to find out how many students they had and how we were going from there. Come on. Stop playing with me. Let's make it happen. As I'm crocheting down, I'm like, I don't know about 3. That's gonna be mighty close. I'm not gonna do the blue one for the classes. I'm actually going to fix that one up to be my daughter's, as she is a teacher as well. But I'm not going to fix it like she wants. I also wanted to make her a stress peel. But here again, I'm waiting on the table yarn for that too. Temu has the softest yarn. I don't know. Temu and Big Twist, they have really taken steps to make this a better experience for crafters. They really have. Like I said, the first time I got yarn from Temu, I wanted to cut it up into little bitty pieces and throw them like pebbles. Just to show how hard they were. Take a tree or something and stand back 40 yards and see if I could hit a target on the tree. Just to keep my skills up with their yarn. But the next time I got yarn from them, because I for some reason, what I actually said to myself was, if it doesn't work out, I can make a rug. So I went into it with a purpose. And when I got it, I was like, wait a minute. It's stretchable? Yeah. We might be able to do something with this. Hence the straps on the top of my dress that I made. The white is the Bernat Softy Baby. But the black and the teal, they move. And it's super soft, and it goes along really well with the bonus bundle mandala. It just, they go really well together. I am so happy that I, chose to try to work with smaller yarns. I think I was turned off by them, by the lady who taught me to crochet, because she had me to make the lace that goes on a queen size sheet, flat sheet, and I wasn't feeling it. It just seems like a whole lot of work. At the time, that's what it felt like to me. You were working forever to achieve something, and it just seemed, the finish line seemed to take forever to get there. And the way I enhanced my crocheting was being an insomniac at such an early age. When my mother would tell me to go to bed, my uncle worked at Panasonic, so he kept me in all the updated electronics, and back then boom boxes were the thing. So I would turn my radio on, my boom box, boom, 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 yeah. But anyway, I'd turn it on really, really, really low, and I would open the curtain, not the window, because there was a street light like right in our front yard. So it was enough light illuminating in the room that I could see my work. The way my bed was situated, it was like the windows, they were top windows. The windows were there, so it didn't matter that I had nobody could see me. And the light was like across the yard, but it was coming in like right on me. So I would sit all the way back against the head of the bed, and I'd crochet. And I loved it. It just made me so happy. And I first learned the art of crocheting with minimal light. And then sometimes to train myself to crochet without light, or since my grandfather had started getting blind as he got older, to prepare for being blind at some stage of my life, I would crochet with my eyes closed. Back then I was very much into granny squares, because granny squares is one that you really don't have to look at it. It's really mindless crocheting. You just go. So then I got to the point that I wanted to be faster. I wanted to be more efficient with this. And I started timing myself to the music. I had to have so much done by the time a song went off. And I would do that. And it would work out. Yes, it did. So you see, it doesn't take very long to make one of these at all. Not long at all. But of course I have to prime this little cup before I put it there, because I don't want any kids to cut themselves on this hard plastic. So all I do is burn the lip. burn the lip until it curls in. I don't want to show you the fire on the channel. I know what I've read about the tube, but I also have checked out other people's experiences. You know, the troubles they've had keeping their content up because of certain things, and how the same thing will work for one person and not another. You know, and I'm like, wow. Okay, all right. I see you, YouTube. The only thing about putting heat to the lip of this is that it's not going to be perfect. It is not going to be perfect. This is where I appreciate the yarn being stretchy, because you have to secure it on one side as you put the cup down into it. The first couple of ones I actually made around, I'm sorry y'all, I don't mean for that to be really loud, but the first couple of ones I actually made around the top of the cup. And you know, I had already put my yarn up there, and I just started working on it from there. But I don't want to do that anymore. And honestly, I knew when I knew it. When I was cutting these bottles, I did not cut them as low. So now I have to put heat to them all over again. So let's see if that's going to because it burns down about one full one. I don't know if y'all remember, but I sit right in front of a fan. So I have to turn to the side away from the fan in order to effectively get the response that I need from the heat. You see, when you put the heat to it, it kind of curves in. See? I don't know how we can keep that seen, but it curves in. And then you have your pencil holder. So we got quite a few going, and we're gonna work on another couple, and then we're gonna go back to this beauty right here. I can't wait to get that one going because I have it in sight. It is not like the other one, but now that I have the concept of what to do, oh boy. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm excited about what's about to happen with that. But I have taken up enough of your time. I want you guys to go and have a wonderful evening. You actually saw me do a project while I was up here from beginning to end. As I get closer in and I can maneuver a little bit better and feel a little more comfortable, I will show you all what I'm doing. For those of you who are experienced and can follow by word, all I do is make my circle, double it wide. What I mean is 12 double crochets making the first part of the circle, and then I double in each, a double crochet in each for the second round. and then I call it inversion crochet because I actually go inside of the stitch around to give it a rim, so that it will definitely have a bottom from the sides. You can also achieve that from going into the back loop and the loop under the back loop of the double crochet. And then you're going to want to do 6 or 7 rows of double crochet coming around, and you finish it off with half double crochet, decreasing every 4 to 5 stitches. So that's how you do it. It's really, really simple. When I said that you do, your 6 rows of double crochet, did I say 6 or 7? Really, you make it as tall as you want. I'm sorry. But you make it as tall as you want. I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm looking at one where I did 8 rows on. That's one of the ones I said I was going to take a row from. The rest of them have 6 rows before we do the half double crochet row. I just want them tall enough to be able to hold this. I used some of my hooks and a pencil to show. And I know that, both kids now are going to be working with scissors. They can put their scissors in there. Everything they're going to be working with. It's also pretty nifty to have as a hook holder, especially when there's certain hooks that you work with more than others. Like I said, I've developed a love for the M hook here recently, and I have found myself working with the J a lot. I did use the J hook, the 0.6, for the pencil holders. Y'all, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened with my voice, but I am using a J, a 0.6, J number 10, however you want to say it, for a lot of my projects here lately, and it's working really well for me. This is a 3-weight, and it's giving me, and this is a half double crochet, I can tell you that. I cannot tell you how many I did going around. I can't really count this next row because I've already started doing increases. I think it was like 150, if I'm not mistaken. But I can tell you that it's going to look like this. If that gives you any clue, it's gonna look like that. Yep, and more, to give it away even more, it's gonna be like that. Stay up there. Yeah. I'm excited. But anyway, that's what I'm getting ready to go get to work on now. When I get tired of looking at the blue, I will pick the rainbow back up and do another pencil holder. Like I said, you guys take care of yourself. Know that I love you. All I want from you is for you to love yourself. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for my 76 subscribers. We need more. We're pushing for 120. Let's do this, guys. Don't forget to comment. I do answer comments, even if I just like them or love them. I read them all. And share, subscribe, comment, like, 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 and share. I'm I'm going to go get me some hot tea before this gets any worse. And I'll see you on the flip side. I love you guys. Oh, I do have to say this before I go. Donations for the G.R.O.W Foundation. Like I said, if you want to make a monetary donation directly to them, I will post that information in the description so that you can do that. Also, things as crocheters, if you want to make things and donate them, you can send them to me. I have my delivery address posted in there. Not my residential, but delivery. Send those to me, and I will make sure that Nisha Himes, who is the founder, gets those items. I still have not counted the washcloths I've done. I know that I've done at least 4 dozen. I just grab my balls of cotton yarn and I make washcloth. We can do this, guys. We can. I know it was 500 washcloths. I don't remember everything right off. Hats, scarves, ear warmers, scrunchies, baby blankets, I think that was it in donations. If I'm not mistaken, that was it in donations. So please, there is no real deadline, but keep in mind that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Okay? Thank you guys so much. I'll see you soon.